Texas, Alabama, Georgia, across the entire American South, people are still battling their most relentless destroyer, massive herds of wild hogs that no one can fully control. They tear up cornfields, ruin grazing pastures, smash fences, and throw countless families' lives into chaos. Electric fences, once considered the last hope, have become nothing more than a weak boundary. Even warning shots no longer scare them off. With every defense failing, residents have no choice but to call us, the hunters who specialize in tracking this destructive species. We arrived at the farm early in the morning, walking across ground that had been torn apart, covered in deep, uneven wild hog tracks. The smell of freshly upturned soil still lingered. It was obvious the herd had swept through here the night before. Seeing the fields in ruins, we knew today's job wouldn't be easy. We quickly agreed on a strategy and set out just as the sunlight began to spill over the hills. The hounds ran ahead, sniffing nonstop. We followed a narrow trail leading into the nearby woods. The ground was covered in fresh rooting marks, proof that the herd was still close. Gnawed tree trunks and patches of overturned soil showed up one after another along the path. Not long after, the hounds suddenly growled and charged toward a thick patch of brush. Instinctively, we spread out, each of us taking a strategic position. From the tall grass, a full-grown wild hog burst out without warning. We raised our rifles at the same time. One member of the team pulled the trigger, the shot echoing through the corner of the woods. The animal dropped after a few final stomps. We had barely regrouped when the dogs picked up new signs. A larger herd was gathering near a patch of damp soil in the valley below. We moved in that direction, our steps quickening. From a distance, dark, glossy backs began to appear. The wild hogs were busy digging through the ground, completely unaware that we were closing in on them. We split into two groups, one circling left while the other held the right flank. Once everyone was in position, we opened fire at the same moment. The herd exploded into chaos, kicking up mud as they scattered. One large hog tried to escape through a line of trees, but I managed to cut off its path. I stayed calm, aimed carefully, and squeezed the trigger. It dropped instantly. The smell of soil, sweat, and the sound of heavy breathing blended together, creating an indescribably tense atmosphere. Just when we thought things had settled down, the gun smoke hadn't even cleared when we spotted fresh signs. Another herd was moving west toward a large feeding area that stretched to the hillside. We followed their trail, crossing patches of rough, rocky ground. By late morning, we stumbled upon a scene that made all of us freeze for a few seconds. A massive herd of wild hogs was crowded around piles of spilled feed. There were so many of them that the ground seemed to tremble with every step they took. Their bristling hair, heavy gait, and alert eyes made them look like a small army. I knew this would be the most critical moment of today's hunt. We hid behind a row of large tree trunks, each of us choosing a target. When the signal came, the whole team opened fire at once. Sharp, crisp shots echoed one after another, scattering the herd like water hitting a barrier. One hog after another dropped onto the dusty ground. Others tried to run toward the open area, but the ambush team was already waiting there. The near-perfect coordination allowed us to keep up the pressure, giving the wild hogs no chance to regroup. We swept our scopes toward the left side of the field and spotted another herd moving in. Young hogs ran among the adults, seemingly unaware of the danger closing in. We shifted our ambush positions, keeping our focus razor-sharp. I found the perfect angle and dropped the largest one with a clean single shot. More shots followed in quick succession, taking down several others. As the sun began to dip, I finally let out a long breath. The number of hogs taken down today won't erase the threat entirely, but it's enough to give the locals a bit of safety for now. Dust clung to my clothes, sweat soaked through my shirt, but a sense of relief settled in as I looked back at what we'd accomplished. Today's wild hog hunt comes to an end here. Which moment of this pursuit impressed you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss the next intense hunting story.